All right, we're good. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Hike It Baby podcast. I'm Rebecca, and I'm just going to go around our virtual room and introduce each other so we know who's here tonight. I'll start with myself. My name's Rebecca Walsh. I run the Hike It Baby Laramie branch. I started a week ago, so I'm really new to this. But my husband and I write trail guides in Laramie, Wyoming, so we're very active in our outdoor community and so I'm excited to be part of Hike Like a Baby. So who's next?
I'll go. Hi, I'm Shanti, and I'm at Hike It Baby Portland. I'm the founder of Hike It Baby, but there were a lot of women involved all along the way, so it's been a big group effort. And I have Mason. He's 15 months. He's upstairs sleeping, and that's always how we do our welcome circles. Name, baby age, and baby name, and where we live. And I'll pass it that
I
way.
have babies too. I have a 3-year-old William and 1-year-old Finn. There.
Awesome.
Messing up already.
I'm Jessica, and this is Natalie. She is 6 months, and we also live in Portland. And we're on the newer end to Hike It Baby, but we're jumping in, and we'll be.
Oh, I'm glad your baby's here. So cute.
So I'll go next because I'm in Portland also. So I'm Megan Bilby, and I'm here with Hike It Baby Portland. And I'm one of the admins that helps out, and when Shanti needs some help, I'm here. My son's name is Clayton, and he's 8.5 months. And we've been with Hike It Baby for almost 7 months now.
Cool. Nice to meet you, Megan.
Allie.
I'll go, sure. I am Allie Carr-Troxel, and my baby is Lucia, and she is 8 weeks today. She's 2 months old. Super exciting. And let's see, I launched the Hike It Baby Seattle branch just a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing. The response, we had almost 200 members overnight. It was crazy. And I think we've had maybe 4 or 5 hikes. I can't remember how many, but it's going pretty well, and I'm super excited to see it grow. And I'm excited to be able to include my baby in all the hiking that I'm doing now.
Awesome.
All right. I'll go. Oh, am I
You're
heard?
up.
You're going.
Okay. All right.
Oh, paused.
I've been a part of. I've been hiking since Hike It Baby started, and then I started the Corvallis branch when I moved here from Portland last spring. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet you guys. It's good to actually see faces and talk in person, I guess, as close to as person as we can be when we're scattered across the United States. So I'd kind of like to go into some background about how Hike It Baby got started and how it's growing. So
I'll do a simple roundup there on that. It started last summer, July 24th. I asked some women in a group the week before if they wanted to hike with me because I just felt like we were sitting inside in a new mama group, and some people said sure they'd show up, and I had no idea if anyone would show up, and I had a stroller, or I had my Bob stroller with the ergo underneath, but I was so scared at that point. Mason was a few weeks old. I was scared to put him in the ergo. I thought I was going to smother him and kill him. So I just was like, I pushed the Bob stroller up a crazy trail, Lower Maclay. It was really like ruddy and steep, and I'm like exhausted. And finally, these women are like, "Hey!" And so 5 women showed up to meet me, and they all were like, "Do you want to like, we'll help you put the baby in the ergo?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. I can do it with you guys." And sure enough, like with them, I did it, and it was cool. And after that, I went a few days later by myself on a couple block distance kind of hike, really short hike, but by myself, and I was so excited. But I would never have done it if it hadn't been for being with those women. And so then the next week, 10 women showed up, actually, after the first one. They heard about it, and 10 women showed up the next week. And then it just like exploded from there. It's just like every week was like more and more and more. And after about 2 months, I build websites and do graphic design and have a writing background. And after like 2 months, I realized like I needed to tell other women about this because it was I felt so supported and so not scared to go try really adventurous trails once I had other people with me. And so that was it. And everyone's been asking me since day one, how is this going to be a business? How are you going to make money? That's always the number one question. And I am still figuring that out. I am less concerned about making money and more concerned about creating a movement that lasts for, like, so our children can grow up, and that's an automatic that a mom would just join a Hike It Baby group as soon as she has a baby. That's my dream.
That's awesome. So how has Hike It Baby impacted all the other women who are here tonight? Any personal stories?
Yeah, I can speak to that. So I had a really rough postpartum period. I had an emergency C-section, and then about weeks 3 and 4, I had some problems because of retained products of conception, so placenta or membrane or something, and had excessive bleeding and had to be in the ER like 3 times within 2 weeks. It was really hard. And so I had to recover again after already starting to recover from labor. And, you know, it's hard recovering and staying inside and staying in bed and kind of being isolated and having really low energy and not enough energy to even walk down the street, and seeing other people who aren't even in shape walking down the street and feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't even do that, you know? Mm-hmm. So when Shanti asked me, I got really excited about it because it was an opportunity for me to channel my energy into something that could help support other new moms out there. And I think, you know, a lot of new moms face challenges, all different. Everyone has their own challenge. And so it was a way for me to be uplifted after my challenging time and to try to help other new moms who maybe are going through something similar.
I'd like to add that I stalked Allie for her whole entire pregnancy. She was pregnant many months after me, and as soon as Hike It Baby got going, and I had known her from the past from Outside Magazine, and I'm like, I'm going to stalk that woman until she And I did, and I kept being like, she's going to be like, go away, you're annoying. I was so excited when she wrote me back.
I'm so excited to be a part of it.
That's not creepy at all, Shanti.
I was watching her getting more and more pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, Allie's going to have a baby. She's the perfect Hike It Baby mom. She's a poster mom.
And now we're all scared of you.
No, I was really excited when she responded because I didn't really want to stalk her. I just was like, wow, she would so get this. Like I knew, like, if anyone would get it, she would get it because she's been in the outdoors industry, knows how many dudes are in it and how unsupportive that can be.
And there were so many times even in my birthing class when it was so nice outside, and I'm like, why are we inside? Same thing.
Yeah. My husband went to do a adventure race kind of thing like a week before our baby was born, and people were like, you let him go out of cell range for a day and a half? Are you kidding? I was like, well, this is what we do. This is how we roll. Like, if he missed the birth, that would have sucked, but, you know, we were just hoping.
Yeah. All right, who else has got a story? This is good. Thanks, Allie.
Sure.
So I have one. I'm one of those lucky moms that had a fairly easy pregnancy, fairly easy recovery, but after my son was born, I found myself, like, I enjoy being a stay-at-home mom, but I really missed working and getting out and seeing people and having something to do. So for me personally, Hike It Baby has given me focus in something where I felt like I would no longer have that satisfaction that I found while I was working. So I volunteer quite a bit with Hike It Baby, but I also enjoy leading hikes. So when I feel almost this feeling of anxiety, like, oh, I don't have enough to do right now, I can just be like, okay, let's set up a hike for tomorrow. And I know that at least one other, and usually 5 or 6 other moms, are going to come out and meet me with their babies. And I'm going to have a group of people to talk to when I'm feeling very anxious about my life. And we don't even have to talk about my life. We just get together and talk about our children, or just life as a mom. And I feel much more connected, both to like my old self before I was a mother, and then also connected to my child because I'm sharing my experiences with these other women, and then I'm feeling more connected with my community. The last 4 weeks now, I've been leading a hike right out of my neighborhood, and I've met 6 families that live less than 3 blocks from me, and it's really helping build that sense of community. That's really neat. I don't think I would have gotten that without Hike It Baby.
That's awesome, Megan. And I like the fact that you mentioned that it's good for your kids too, because I know if we show up at a trailhead and nobody's there to hike with my 3-year-old, he's really disappointed because he wants to hike with friends. So I think it's easy to think about the connection that we're getting with fellow parents, but the cool connections that our children are getting with one another, especially as they get older. So that's awesome. Thank you. Cool.
Did anyone see Molly's post on that today? She didn't have she has another couple that she's hiked with their 2 children since birth, and done like a lot of hiking and a lot of outdoor stuff since birth, and now they're 21 and they're still best friends, these boys.
Oh yes, I saw the picture. I didn't have time to read.
They're spirit brothers now, and that's just so cool because they think that being out in nature bonded them much more than if they had like all been going out to pizza. And I mean, not that that's bad, but it's like there's something about them adventuring alone, boys out in the, with their parents, but then going off and being little adventure boys by themselves that creates such an incredible bond.
That's so neat. You're going to have like the Portland hiker mafia in like 18 years. That city's going to go crazy.
It's pretty cool. People tell us, we run across people on trails and they say, oh, I saw all you moms. I saw you guys 3 days ago on this trail. And like, I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know there was a hike out there. Cool.
Yeah, my group got mistaken for a daycare once. And I was like, no, we're not a daycare. We're just a bunch of moms that are crazy enough to bring our kids out here. It would have been a cool daycare, though. I mean, that's daycare I'd send my kid to, right?
Yeah.
We were on the other day. They called us the Mom and Kid Parade. Oh, look, it's a parade of mom and babies.
Yeah, we get that a lot. That's a good one. Tell us where you are.
So for me, I think the biggest thing that I've really enjoyed, we're new to Portland since we had our babies, and just being able to meet other moms and know that there's other people in similar situations. That's my baby screams here. And just get out and enjoy, because we really love being out in nature and feeling safe and knowing that there's people with us and we're not going to get lost or be uncomfortable. And I think one of my favorite new tricks is nursing on the trail. It's awesome to be able to nurse hands-free. And nobody even knows it's happening. It's
secret nursing. It's awesome.
Totally did it in the store the other day. Had a fussy baby and just whipped out a boob. And I also did it in the airport the other day. That was awesome. Nobody knew what I was doing, but I'm like, haha, I'm nursing. All of you don't know.
It's awesome. Anybody else? So I'm a new branch, and you're pretty well established. So what advice or tips can you give to someone who's starting a new branch? Well, first of all, why should they start a new branch? And then what tips or advice can you give to a new branch?
I want Jen to answer that because Jen was one of the very first people to come to me and say, can I start this in Corvallis? I'm moving away from Portland. And I was like, yes, please, will you? That would be so great, because I hadn't even thought of people starting it in other places at that point. So she was one of the first people to give me that idea. So Jen, what was it? I mean, you've had a slow go too, so.
Yeah, it's been challenging. Well, when when we were thinking about moving to Corvallis, it just seemed really natural to start a branch here because it was just Hike It Baby is just really awesome, and there's a lot of really close-in trails here in Corvallis, and so it was something that I really wanted to share. I wasn't sure about the time commitment at first, so it was a few months of living here before I contacted you, Shanti, to get things going. And yeah, so I wanted to feel confident about having the energy to get things going. So we were settled here when I started it, and it's been slow. There's about 50,000 people in the city, but it's a college town, so close to half of that is students. And so I think I started leading hikes in March or April, and 1 to 2 a week. And I think I've gotten maybe 5 or 6 other moms at most. Sometimes it was just me. A lot of times it was just one other friend. But I've met a lot of other moms, a lot of people who are new to town and looking for other people to get involved with. And it's been both really good but also a little frustrating. I've only had one other person actually lead a hike. There's another woman had to cancel it because her kid was sick, so that's been hard. Just I've been wanting to see it going more, and it just I don't know. We've had a little bit of a roadblock, and the last month I've had a lot of just personal things going on, so I haven't led a hike in a while. But I think that's okay too. If there isn't anyone there to step in, if you need to take a break, take a break. I'm in the middle of the night one night I'm thinking I'm just gonna shut it down. This is too much, and then but you don't have to do that. You can just pause it for a while if no one's there to keep it going and you need a break. So I don't know. Does anyone else have any questions or comments about that? What I just said, everything.
There's no pressure. I mean, that's the truth about it. That's the one thing I keep. We had someone actually call that was about to start a branch, and she decided not to because she saw our room and how much conversation goes on in our admin room, and she was like, "Oh, this is too much for me. I'm sorry, I'm out."
I'll say that since all this stuff has been going on the last month, I've looked at the admin page once. I turned off my email notifications because it was too much for me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting any of things, I had things I needed to do in my life, and I wasn't doing them, so eventually I'll go back into the admin room. So it's probably helpful when you're first starting it to get some ideas on, to figure out how to run a branch, but it's not necessary, and I probably would have shut my branch down if I were still on the admin page and seeing
That's
the
good
results.
to know.
To be honest.
That's good to know.
I probably would have shut. I would have been I'm done, Shawnee. I'm removing myself as an admin from my group.
But I love to see the communication that's going on between the branches. I just follow along, but it's interesting to me. But I do agree, it is overwhelming.
Yeah. It was way too much for me, and so I just had to. I had to turn it off. But I was learning a lot and getting some good ideas and tips. So I'll be back at some point, checking it out.
Okay. You know you're there. Really, it's about starting it, to be honest. That's my idea, because once it's there, even if it's a branch that's really quiet, like we have one in Pendleton, and she was thinking about shutting down, and I'm like, we can have branches that just are there. So what it can say on those pages is, hey, this town, is a pretty quiet branch, but if you want to get a hike going, drop us an email and we'll get one going. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an aggressive person or an aggressive branch. You can be a chill branch that just kind of is there as support always, so that if someone comes to town, there's a woman that's going to start one up in Jackson Hole, and there's a lot of hiking groups and a lot of stuff going on there. So,
Wyoming, sorry, shout out, fist bump.
Yeah. But I was telling her, and she's really busy too, so I said, hey, don't worry about it. What would be great is if I'm going to Jackson Hole and I'm a Hike It Baby person and I see that Amelia has a branch in Jackson Hole, I can contact Amelia and say, hey, I'm a Hike It Baby person from Portland. Can you suggest some hikes I can go on, or are you available at all? And she might be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go do this hike. Come with me. So that's the idea, is we're creating a community. It's not about how awesome and kick-ass and how huge you grow your branch. That's not. And how much you engage in, I mean, just the idea is by having a simple philosophy of just leave no mama behind and all that simple stuff. That was my idea. It's just that we have some simple rules so people don't feel left out and don't feel alone. Because I hate it when you join a group and you feel like everyone's been together so long and you're not really part of it. I didn't want to ever feel like that. I don't want any hike to ever feel like that in the groups. And they will get big, and that's the thing that's kind of scary, is that right now we're dealing with 1,600 people in Portland. So we have a lot going on here, and we have some hikes that are like 50 people show up for.
Wow.
It's a little intense, and it's actually, I mean, some people actually really like those hikes. I lead a lot of them, and I don't like them.
But I like them. I think they're a lot of fun.
I mean, they're not bad, but I prefer, like, I went on one with my friend Kate one morning, and there was like 4 of us, and it was really fast, and we just rocked it, and it was so much fun, and I was like, yeah, I like this. Like, this is quiet, and the park was quiet, and, you know, yeah. So, big, little, whatever, but it's nice to have all kinds of different possibilities, I think.
Neighborhood hikes that we've been doing have been really nice because it's been usually myself, my husband, my son, and then another couple and their children. So sometimes we have a couple that has twins, and then we have a couple who have an older child who's about 4. And it's fun having that smaller group because we really get to know them. Plus, they're in our neighborhood, so it's almost like we have instant friends.
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes I worry because our Forest Service has lots of restrictions on group size when we're out on our trails, so that's the thing I worry about, growing too big that we make the Forest Service really mad. And those are all our trails. They're all on Forest Service land. So
Shanti has a pretty good technique for that, is if you know that you're going to have like 20-plus people, you ask for a couple people who are willing to lead, and then you break down into smaller groups.
In the parking lot.
In the parking lot, and then you wait 10, 20, 30 minutes between each group, and then each group goes out smaller. And that way you get that small group feeling, but nobody's left out.
Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah, because we had one where I was going to be charged $2,000 to lead the hike there because it got so big, and we had over 100 women show up. And it was for a big latch, and I when we called to just okay it with the city to make sure we didn't have a problem, they let us know. We got some fun baby stuff going on down here.
Oh.
With the city let us know, they like, oh, well, with how many people you're going to have, that's going to be $2,000, and you're going to have police escort because that's a parade, and we're like, oh.
It really is the mommy.
So we changed it to we got a picnic permit for $79, and then we just said we were having a mommy picnic, and they even showed up to check it out, and we were doing the big latch, so we're like, our babies are nursing, they're having lunch, and then we broke into groups of 10 to 12 or so, and lots of group leads, and so yeah, just if something looks like it's getting big, that's really good to break down. And in the future, we're going to start doing more and more RSVP hikes because some people really don't like more than 2 or 3 people on their hikes. So we want them to have that opportunity and that experience where they're not alone, but then they can have, you know, a few people.
That's awesome. So we have about 5 minutes left. Do you want to talk about the fundraiser really quick?
Oh yeah. Well, so we're doing an Indiegogo fundraiser, and a lot of the big question is, why does a free hiking group need money? And the reason is because we have grown so quickly. You know, we're almost at 30 branches, and we have 7 more that are all sort of asking us if they can start, and I'm holding up for a second on those. And so yeah, so the Indiegogo is like Kickstarter. It's crowdfunding, and we're just looking. We need to get the website to the next level so we actually can be sustainable business. And that Hike It Baby can run itself. And that's really my goal, is that we have enough tools in it so that we can bring in funds. So that's what we're doing. And I don't know if there's anything else. Allie, you want to add anything to that?
Well, how's it going so far?
Well, it's great. We got up to 7%, and we actually are on the second page of trending for Indiegogo, which is a pretty big deal to actually make it to the front pages.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, the goal is if we can get a little bit, like if we can keep up this pace, at least tomorrow and the next day, we'll probably make it to the front page, which would be a really big deal, actually. So it's going amazing.
Fantastic. That's super exciting.
And I mean, I'm asking it would be great if everyone in the branches could drop, $5 to $25 would be incredible. But if you can't, like, sharing is huge too, because there's a lot of people sharing, but the further it gets, the better. So I'm having a lot of my friends write emails to their family and send pictures of themselves on hikes, and that's, I think, a really awesome technique, because your family is so excited to see you happy with your baby on a trail. So, yeah, I don't know. Any other suggestions?
You could also, another thing we were thinking is you could do a hike-a-thon and have your friends and family pledge like $1 per mile, and if you aim for 20 miles in the month, which is basically like 2 shorter hikes a week, then even if you got 5 people to donate, you'd have $100 to chip in. So, fun way to get yourself out there more and to get some more fundraising done.
That's a great idea.
So keep those ideas coming in. We're trying to think of other ways to help people fundraise and think about ways they can hit up family and friends without feeling like too overly like, It's hard. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. I don't want to
remind people that they can have more chances to enter for awesome gear prizes if they donate. They obviously don't have to donate to enter for the prize, but more donations, the more possibility of having free gear.
So that is, those are a few of those. Any other questions for us, Rebecca?
No, I can't think of anything. Do you guys have anything you want to add just about Hike It Baby in general, or growing, or kind of what the future looks like?
Well, we hope a lot more branches will
sign off and go to bed.
We're all tired. We're like, oh, babies, he's going to wake up in a few hours. I really hope that with this Indiegogo, actually, I hope that it just raises an incredible amount of awareness, and even if we don't meet our goal, the big goal is that if tons more people start writing us every day and saying, I want to start a branch, then we're going to get there somehow, whether it's this Indiegogo or companies or whatever it is. So I'm just hoping that we get a lot of media interested and people interested all over the country, sort of going, what is this thing that's happening?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. I started a local hiking group in my community about a year ago, and then I found Hike It Baby, and I'm just so excited to be part of a community and to share and to know what else is going on. Like, I thought I was the only person crazy enough to double carry my kids. Turns out everybody's double carrying their kids, so I'm not even special. But I love knowing that it's just the supportive community. It's welcoming, it's warm, and it's friendly. So I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Anchorage to triple carry.
Oh, Lord.
Did you see the moose in their picture the other day?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm jealous because we always see moose, but from a distance, they were close,
You're on
man.
the trail with the moose.
Yeah. Even with kids, see, we never see animals, and I blame it on the children crying their way down the trails. But anyway. All right, so we are going to sign off the video right now, and then we'll talk with the group and see if we can set up maybe another one of these, because this was pretty fun. So that concludes our podcast and our video, and we'll have this up on YouTube and then in podcast form in hopefully Friday morning. I'm pretty busy tomorrow, but we'll let you know where you can find it. So, all right.